A quick video showing perspective and how things compress the closer they get to the center point of your view. You can see it on everything here. We have cross beams on the roof. We have the open center on the roof that gets narrower as it gets to the far end because it's compressing. The lane slopes up, the stanchions slope in, because it's all compressing towards the center point of my vision. In this case, the camera lens, but also my eyes because I can look at it. The stanchions close by the truck, you can tell individual ones, but as it gets further down, they get compressed or squished. And it gets harder and harder to identify individual stanchions or even individual cows. Your vision works like a cone. So whatever point you look at, doesn't matter if it's on the ground, pointed towards the horizon, it's up in the air, anywhere you point. Your vision works like a cone towards that point. And everything angles to that point. Everything from the sides, the top, the bottom, and various other points of your cone. And they compress on the inside part of those angles is the part that gets the most compressed. And that's why when things do reach horizons, the horizon is just the optical limit of angular resolution determined by your elevation. The higher you are, the further you see. And everything, the further you see, everything levels up to that point and there's no humps. There is no curvature. This earth is flat. Perspective does describe everything. And it describes why the bottoms of things disappear first, past that optical limit of angular resolution. So things that have sufficient angular size that move beyond that point, you still see the tops of. But everything that moves further and further and further away, the bottom becomes most compressed, goes into that vanishing point, and you just can't see it. Because that optical limit line has, I guess you could call it, clutter and noise. It has waves and trees and grasses and houses and stuff like that block things far off in the distance that you can't see. And you can't resolve things that get to that point. I'm going to angle this up a little bit so you can see the roof better as I drive down this lane. And notice how, as you move, everything widens up coming at you. And you can resolve, like all those cross beams on the roof, the stanchions, as you approach them, you can resolve them because you're getting closer and your optical limit is changing. Just watch especially those little crossover beams on the open center of the roof. Just look at the far end, see how compressed they are. Look right at the top, close to me, and they're way wider. I mean, they're the same all the way down, but your vision compresses. It's really that simple. But the reason I chose a barn like this is because of all the reference points in it. All the cross beams, all the poles, like the support poles here in the center, on each side of me. Down there, they're all close together because everything on the back part of your line of vision is more compressed than everything in the front part of your vision. So everything close to me is less compressed. Everything further is more compressed. If this barn was a lot longer, 2 or 3 times longer, that would come to a little point down there, that open end of the barn in the far end. And everything, you wouldn't be able to make out detail because everything would be so compressed in that far end that your eye can't resolve it. Because when things, by perspective, merge together, there's less information for the light to reflect off of because it's all merged and you can't resolve it. This stuff is so easy. There is no curve. This earth is flat. And perspective is the explanation. I mean, look how things, as you come closer, widen out. Because you see in a cone. If I backed up right now, which I don't have time because I have to keep going. Well, actually, I can back up a little ways. I have to make a stop here. And like I said, there's lots of reference points to see and make judgments by. Here's a little bit more. Just look at the telephone poles. As they get closer to me, they take up more of my screen because they're widening out. It's like decompressing. If you want to make up a word for it, or unsquishing. I'm going to coin that term. Look at the telephone poles off in the distance there. Let me level this out a little bit. They look close together because they're compressed in the back part of the line of vision. But they're no closer together than these poles right close up to me. Everything angles to the center of your vision, just like a cone. And the inside part of all those angles, the inside part that's closest to the center of that vision, is the part that compresses the most. Let me roll up my window, probably making a bunch of noise. Okay. Well, that's enough for the day. It's a lesson for you ball boys, girls, or kids.